Yeah, I think we're all concerned and reasonably cautious about it, but we're also highly focused on it. And I think one of the interesting things that we've seen in the last 4 months is the amazing depth and size of the credit markets. And I think if you look back in March, I don't think you ever would have believed that we, for example, could have financed all of Warner Music's senior debt out, and this is senior debt that was due in 2011, with a bond deal that was more than twice as large as we set out to raise, and it was raised in 1 day. Those are the sorts of things that I think give you some belief, a reasonable belief, that there is an enormous amount of capital available, that the constraint isn't the amount of capital to help refinance these transactions, but it will be the terms under which that capital is accessible and the quality of the companies that are trying to access those various markets to refinance this debt. If you look at where the capital markets really expanded in the leveraged buyout space, it wasn't so much the high yield side. The percentage of high yield and the multiple of EBITDA that was supplied by high yield was reasonably constant over the course of the last 20 years, even through, there were some ups and downs, but it was, peak to peak was reasonably constant for the high yield side of the debt markets. What you saw was an enormous expansion of the bank financing and the ability to access non-traditional bank lenders, CLOs, and other sorts of institutional money that was available for senior debt. And I think what you're going to see is the ability to use the bond market, the high yield bond market, in conjunction with the equity markets and with M&A to deal with most of the maturities that you're going to see in the particularly the 2011 to 2014 range. You'll also see the ability to continue to extend out the maturities of the existing debt past that big bubble that people point to in 2014. And you've started to see that already with many of the larger transactions where you've either refinanced using high yield that puts you out into the 2016, 2017 range, or you've extended out your bank maturities past that so-called debt wall that starts to pop up in 2014. So I think that there's reason to believe that we can deal with the magnitude of debt that we have to deal with over that period of time. And the data would suggest that the capacity exists within the markets to deal with it. We'll just have to, again, continue to be highly focused on that and make sure that we're very diligent in managing those capital structures.